Hi, doTERRA family. Welcome to this very special podcast. Excited about this topic. It's super relevant moving forward in the development of our doTERRA businesses. We have here in the room with us some very special and important people that have been instrumental in the enhancements that are coming out in the doTERRA compensation plan. And so we're going to talk about some of those and why we're doing this. But before we do that, my name is Justin Harrison. I am the founding wellness advocate with doTERRA. So 17 years ago now. It's been an amazing journey, mostly to see literally hundreds of thousands of lives change around the world. That has been the greatest blessing by far. And as we continue to move forward, because the needs are tremendous and we have solutions, having our business thrive as part of that is key. And these enhancements, these improvements, these elevations, we're calling them, to the doTERRA compensation plan are really going to be critical moving forward. And so we have the mastermind here with us behind a lot of this. And so let's talk about it. So if you quickly introduce yourselves, ladies first.
Okay, I'm Saramarie. I've been with doTERRA for about 14 years, so not quite as long.
Time.
But I love our wellness advocates. That is my favorite part of what we do. And I have worked in a number of different roles at doTERRA, but actually very early on, I actually helped run commissions. So
That's
to come
right.
back and to be doing a commissions project is super fun.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. My name is Michael Stirling. I am the General Manager of Canada. Love our Canadians out there. And in the past, I've worked a lot of years with our Asian markets as well. So I love all of our Chinese out there as well. And I'm excited to be here to talk comp plan.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael.
And I'm Isaac. I'm the Executive Vice President of Strategy. I also oversee our Europe and Africa markets. I've been with doTERRA for 10 years now. Absolutely love being a part of the company. Feel like Saramarie and Michael, just excited about the future and really excited about what this project is going to mean for all of our wellness advocates.
Awesome. And before we jump in, I just want to express to each of you my thanks and gratitude. Having been in this space before in my past, I'm fully aware of the amount of time and energy and the sleepless nights and the late phone calls or early phone calls and the tremendous amount of work that has gone into this. This has not been just something we decided to do last week, right? This has been an ongoing process for years?
A year, and it's been absolutely all of that and more. But we've loved it too because we feel like it's going to make a difference.
Yeah. Huge difference. So let's springboard with that then. So why do we need to make this difference? Why do we need to make this change? Why change anything from our existing plan, which has been so successful?
Right.
Why even touch it? Yeah,
it's a good place to start because the plan has been incredibly successful. And I know a lot of people are asking this question, why change it now? And for us, it's all about two things really, driving growth and solving wellness advocate pain points. And all three of us, I know I can speak for us, feel passionate about both of those things. We want doTERRA to grow into the future. And to do that, we're gonna have to, make some changes, make some moves. That's how you grow. And at the same time, we're all passionate because we know so many wellness advocates and we've worked with so many people and we want to solve their pain points. And we know what those are. We've been out there. I lived in Europe for 3 years working with our Europe market, with Michael working with Canada. No one maybe knows the US market better than Saramarie. We know what those pain points are, and we really want to solve them.
Yeah. I would just say, in addition to that, the thing that really changed my conviction on this project was we actually sent out a survey to a massive group of wellness advocates, and 80% of our wellness advocates responded that they wanted the comp plan updated, that there are really things that needed to be adjusted. Whether that's power of three, paying more to early active builders, and addressing platinum pay as well. And so as we decided to take those as objectives, we believe we can really make this better for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I representing the field, and I know you've all heard this in conversations, as have I, sometimes the topic of change in general is difficult. Right, is sensitive, and most of us don't like change, right, just as human beings. And here we are making some fairly significant adjustments, right? At its foundation, really, it's not. It's the same structural compensation plan we've had this whole time, just with some modifications. But Michael, let me ask you this question. For those who are concerned with maybe saying, well, the owners of the company or executives said this is not consistent like they said it would be. Let me just play devil's advocate there for a second. Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah.
Like if there's like, well, you said you'd never change.
Love that. Well, first off, I would say I have complete confidence in the founders of this company and how they care about each of our wellness advocates. They care about your success and they care about the future of this company. So the first thing that I would say is trust in that. They've given so much to this and they're going to continue to do that. They're guiding all of us in this process. And on top of that, the world continues to change. How does the world look today as to how it looked in 2008? Like, we're in a very different world. And if we kind of sat back and said, we are not going to do any change, we're not going to try to adapt, that's not a good path for growth in a world that's changing. So we need to adapt. We need to innovate for the future.
That's right. And another thing that I've heard, and I know the answer to this question already, but I want to hear your answer, is, doTERRA must be making these enhancements or these changes because they're in trouble, right? Because, they're going out of business or they're financially hurting, or lots of different rumors, right? The internet's really good at that.
Absolutely.
And so let's just hit that head on, Isaac. What's your response to that?
Emphatic no. In fact, we just finished Q4 of 2024. It was one of our best quarters in the last almost 4 or 5 years. We're in a great position from a cash perspective, from a net debt-free perspective, which we've always been. Again, to Michael's point, our founders have put us in such a great spot, and we're lucky to have founders that care so much about doTERRA still and want it to thrive. And so the changes here, they're not some sort of reaction to saying, oh no, like we have to, fix our financial situation. Are we trying to make us even more financially stable for the future? Absolutely. But we feel great about where we're at. We actually feel like this is the ideal time to make a change like this when we are in a position of strength, where we actually have some markets, like our second largest market, Europe, which I'm partial to, of course. It probably had its best year ever this last year.
Yeah.
We have Japan had an incredible year. Certainly some markets also have had their struggles, and we don't shy away from that. That's part of business. You go up, you go down, but we feel like right now we're in a great position to make changes like this.
Awesome. Sarah, what are you most excited about? Having seen this whole project from beginning to end, it's rolling out, what excites you?
Okay, so many things, but I would just say I love the duplication of doTERRA. And when you come in and you are able to bring others into this with you, there's a magic that happens with momentum. And every single one of the enhancements we're looking at really propels momentum forward. And I believe that as people see that, the most exciting thing isn't actually maybe some of the pops that will happen right at the beginning, where there are pay increases to premiers through diamonds almost instantly. There's simplified power of 3. Things that really can make a difference to people's checks right away, but I believe very strongly, after going through so much data, that in a couple of years, most people's checks will be going up because their level is going to grow so much, and that is great potential in the comp plan.
Right.
Like, I'm so excited to see that in people's checks and just be like, oh, this is awesome.
I agree fully. I think that's exactly where we're headed. So, okay, so can we jump in? Let's jump in and talk about some of these enhancements and changes, and I have a whole list here. Let's, Isaac, let's start with Power of 3. This has been a foundational program since day one in doTERRA, and continues to be. And I love what you're about to share because I think this is so awesome. So.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the best way to describe Power of 3 is that there's 3 changes that we're making. The first one is that we're transitioning from it being a very people order focused structure-based bonus into a more volume-based bonus. And let me explain a little bit what I mean by that. So right now, in order to earn your first level Power of 3 bonus, you have to have 3 people who each order 100 PV in the month. We're now doing away with the requirement to have those 3 people order, and instead you just need to have 500 of LRP volume on your first sponsor level. Now what this does is 2 things which are really amazing for wellness advocates, and I'm sure what you were referring to. The first is, at the end of the month now, you don't have to go and worry if someone placed 100 PV order or if they placed 98 PV or 95 PV, right? It doesn't matter as long as on your front line you have 500
Oh
of
my
LRP
gosh, can
volume.
I just come give you a hug?
Yes, yeah, you can. Yeah.
Like seriously, that is like the greatest
Well,
thing.
I mean, I really genuinely feel excited that we're doing away with this, and I believe it takes us into a situation where now to a new person who's coming in, I think that requirement must just feel, you know, a little like, oh, I have to get all my customers to order exactly this amount every month. Whereas now you just bring people to doTERRA, find customers. And if you have over 500 of volume on that front line in LRP, then you're going to earn the bonus.
Well, and I love, there were over 300,000 orders, LRP orders,
Yeah.
that were below the 100 PV level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In the prior plan, those
Yeah.
didn't count
Oh, yeah.
as one of your 3 orders, right? And now they all count.
Right. They all
And so it's huge.
I think it really allows doTERRA to move into a phase of being customer friendly.
Yeah.
And allowing customers to do things in the way that works for them instead of the way that works for their upline. And that makes a big difference in phone calls all the time and
gosh.
how people can help others.
Love that. Okay, so you
Yeah.
said there was 3.
Yeah. Wrapping up on this point, though, so the second benefit of this first change to more volume-based is that right now in your Power of 3 structure, if someone chooses to not place their 100 PV order or even just to place, 85 PV order, they can actually break the entire Power of 3 structure, right? And we know some
Been
of
there.
that pain.
Been there.
Right, you have been there.
Been there.
So many people listening to this podcast have experienced that. And that's always been a hard thing for us on the corporate side to be like, yeah, it's just the way it is, sorry. Well, from now on, that is not the way it is. You don't have to worry about these people who have power over you. As long as the volume is there underneath them,
So excited.
you're good. Your structure can't be broken by someone else. So this is a huge benefit. The second thing that we're doing is we recognize that as we give some of these benefits, we also have to balance things out, right? We're actually not adding more money to the compensation plan with this change. doTERRA is already probably the most competitive in terms of what we offer the field from a financial standpoint. And so we have to have some gives and some takes. And on the Power of 3 side, we recognize one place where we could shift money to those who are really actively working is by moving it away from those who are earning on a Power of 3 structure that they did not build themselves. And we can see that by the amount of personally enrolled volume they have in their structure. So if you have, for example, a 500 of LRP volume on your first level, but none of it is personally enrolled, in the future, you will now have to get at least 100 of it to be personally enrolled in order for you to earn the Power of 3 bonus. So this is a key change. It's what's going to allow us to make, these other changes I just talked about. And we think, it's going to affect about 25% of wellness advocates, but it's going to be something that people can manage.
And everyone
Yeah.
has a way back there, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you have the 500 in structure right now, and 100 of it's not enrolled to you, then that's a simple thing to go out and say, okay, I'm going to bring in a new customer or 2 new customers, and when 100 PV on my front line is enrolled to me, then I'm going to start earning. So
Yeah.
easy.
Yep. Exactly. And then the third change is the third level of Power 3. In the US, we've paid $1,500. We're now going to be reducing that by about 16%. So in the US, it'll be $1,250. And this is a change we need to make, as I mentioned earlier, just for the long-term stability of doTERRA. We've learned over 16 years, what we can, what we can't afford in the compensation plan. You're never going to get it perfect. It's actually incredible that our founders did it as successfully as they did. But we need to make this adjustment now, and the great thing is we're going to give everyone a chance to earn back either all or more, or at least part of what they're going to have taken away through the Power of 3 reduction at the third level.
And on that note, with the third level going to $1,250 in the US and Canada, this is a really interesting thing that we've seen is just by going to volume-based, you have so much more flexibility. Before this, you had, I think it's 39 individuals that have to place 100 PV, and then 13 pods of 600. So you're managing over 50 pods of volume to get them to this certain amount. After this change, now you're managing 13. 50 to 13. Like the amount of management at the end of every month is way less. So we're really looking forward to this being a huge shift in making this easier to manage each month.
And this change alleviates a lot of that.
Yeah.
Those end of month challenges. Now, you said there was a way,
Yeah.
so I'm waiting for kind of the other shoe to drop, right?
Yeah.
There was a way to earn back even more.
Right. And this is through what we're calling the Power of 3 boost. And I think each of us probably have a favorite part of the comp plan changes. this is up there for all of us. This is the way that we are going to pay early active builders more money. And we considered, by the way, for the last year, all different types of ways to potentially do this. And we decided on this one because we love what Power of Three does already to teach structure, to incentivize LRP, and for other reasons as well. And we feel like tying this boost to Power of Three is the right approach. So here's how it will work. First, there's going to be a new metric that we're going to introduce. I know new metric sounds a little scary. It's going to be in the back office. You're going to be able to see it. It's going to take a little bit of time to learn what it is, but we're calling it personal growth volume. And essentially what we're doing is we're looking at all of your personal enrollments in the last 12 months and the volume placed on LRP from those people in the current month. So if it's January, we're going to look back at who you enrolled in the last 12 months.
Right. Say
you enrolled 10 people. And we're going to look at those 10 people and say, what did they order on LRP this month? And that is your personal growth volume. Now, the way we're going to use that number is if you have at least 400 of that in any given month and you're earning your Power of Three bonus, you will now boost your Power of Three. At the first level, doubles your Power of Three. So if you're earning 50 today, now you're earning 100.
Awesome.
If you have 800 of personal growth volume, you will also boost your second level bonus. Now that's going to look a little bit different market to market. In the U.S., I'll just speak from a U.S. perspective. That's going to boost it by $250. So again, you double your second level bonus. And this is what we're perhaps most excited about in all these changes is creating this path for a new builder to earn $500 through the Power of Three boost. We think it's going to be a real game changer for you to be able to go to people and say, you just get this pod of 500 in volume underneath you, and you help 3 people do the same, and you keep enrolling, you're going to earn $500.
What I love about this for the new people getting started, because they're new, all of their volume is new.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? All of it's new. And so them to hit that metric, whether it's the 400 or 800, is going to kind of just be natural.
Right.
It isn't
Right?
even something that has to be taught to them, right? Like that's something you can teach them once they're 6 months in.
Right.
Because from the beginning, everything counts for them.
Everything counts, right? So they'll be able to double it possibly very, very quickly. It's so exciting. So exciting. So how are we going to pay for this? Because I know this is a lot. This is a big pay increase on Power 3 potentially, right, with that boost. Michael, how are we going to pay for this?
So as we've looked at the compensation plan, we saw some opportunities, places where we could be more efficient. One of those places is in our unilevel first level. So doTERRA is a unilevel. We pay the highest percentage on the deepest level and the lowest percentage at the highest level. So for most people, that means that we're paying you the most on the most people, and we're paying you the least on the fewest people. So as we looked at this, we were paying an average of $10 to people on their first level volume across the board.
Right.
And that's 2% of our unilevel being used that way. So we felt that there is a better and more efficient way. We take that 2% and we use it for this boost so that we can help people who are actively enrolling, getting people on LRP to get extra bonuses on top of their Power of Three. And what this does is on that first level volume, let's say you have 500 in volume there, today you're getting paid $10, that's 2%. After this change, you have that 500 LRP, you're getting $50. And if you're boosting, you're getting 100 off that same volume.
So good.
So we felt that we could shift things to be a little bit more efficient with what we have to pay the active builders even more. So that's one. A second place where we saw some inefficiency, where we can go in and make a difference there, is we have a lot of stacked accounts in doTERRA. So for example, if I have 4 wellness advocates and then underneath them there's an elite, automatically those people above all become elites too.
Right.
Even if they never enrolled anybody. They've maybe never had any activity, but they're getting paid as an elite. So we are now going to bring in a unilevel activity requirement to say if you want to get the full unilevel, then you need to be doing something with doTERRA. So we have a minimum threshold of activity that we're going to ask for. Now, this will only pertain to elite through gold ranks. So for platinum and above ranks, there's no unilevel threshold. There's nothing there that you need to worry about or think about. For elite through gold, we're going to say that you need to have, you and your team, hit a certain threshold of growth activity. So we just talked about personal growth volume for the boost, right?
Right.
So the second metric, so second thing to learn here, second metric is called team growth volume. So it's similar, but even more broad. So for the team growth volume, this is looking at anyone that enrolled or reactivated in your team over the last 12 months, and then calculating their volume this month, whether that's LRP or standard order.
Awesome.
And then that volume is your team growth volume. You'll see it in your back office loud and clear. You can see who's contributing to it. We'll have that information for you. And for Elite through Gold, there's a minimum threshold that you need to hit to get paid the 2 deepest levels of your unilevel. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So then what we'll do is we'll say at each rank, you get to count the activity within a certain number of levels from you, right?
Right.
As you build in rank and you advance in rank, your influence increases, the number of people that you're supporting and helping. So for elites, you need 300 on 3 levels. And for premiers, 400 on 4 levels. Silver is 500 on 5 levels. And gold is 600 on 6 levels. And again, these are minimum thresholds. We'll find that the vast majority of people will be over that.
Right. Oh,
And
yeah.
this,
Significantly over
Yeah.
that.
yes. And this is specifically to address those stacked accounts, those some call blessed accounts, right? To say if you want to keep getting the full unilevel, even though maybe you haven't built in the past, you can if you engage. Or you can be happy with those first levels of unilevel, and the remainder we'll take and we'll use for the pools. We're going to reinvest that into our pools for our active builders.
Awesome. I know we're going to talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
But this is very, very exciting. And what I appreciate also knowing is that this number for these new metrics is not going to be some nefarious, like, what is it? It's going to be very obvious, right? In our back office, we'll be able to see that number and know exactly where we are and where our team members are, maybe even more important, right? As we're supporting them. And so we know if it's short, or in most cases it's way beyond and it's kind of a non-issue, right? But if it is short, it gives us a heads up and some time, right, to work on it.
Yeah, totally. And I would just emphasize too with what Michael said, that this change is all about paying more to the active builders. Being a general manager and meeting with so many wellness advocate leaders, one of the hardest things to hear was that, why is this person who hasn't done anything in years making more than this person who's working so hard? And with this change that we're making, doTERRA is not trying to take some money back from the field. We're just trying to shift it over, to pay more to the people who are really working on your team, your builders, and this change is going to help do that in a big way.
Yeah, and speaking of paying more, there's been kind of a pain point for years in the platinum rank, right? When someone would advance from gold to platinum, the pay increase, one would think it would be significant, but
It's a lot more work.
It is a lot more work to jump from gold to platinum, right? But the pay raise was not correlating with the increased amount of work, right? And so that's been a little bit of a choke point, well, I guess forever. So that's been addressed now, right?
100%. And now we've addressed it, but also just to what you were saying, it happened gradually over time too. As we added more money to the gold rank, it got closer up to where platinum was.
Right.
So now with these updates, this is a great opportunity for us to adjust that platinum pay. So one of the things that we're going to do with that volume that is coming out of the unilevel requirement that I just talked about is we're going to put it into both the empowerment pool and the diamond performance pool. So let's speak to that platinum one first. So platinum, we are going to add platinums to the diamond performance pool.
Before it was just diamonds and above.
Before it was just diamonds and above, we're going to add platinums into that pool, rename it to just be called the performance pool.
Right.
And we're adding a whole 0.5% of commissionable volume. So right now we pay 1% in that pool. It'll be 1.5% to accommodate our platinums. But what this does is for our engaged working platinums, they are getting about an additional $1,000 on top of what they're currently earning today.
Wow.
And that puts their income
That's way better than what they get now.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. And we love that it really makes it make sense.
Yeah.
Like today, people jump to diamond, and if they drop from diamond, they usually go back down to gold instead of platinum. Platinum now is a rank that makes sense to be at for people.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really excited about how this enhances the platinum rank.
That's so great. Now, we're talking about pools, but before
Yes.
we go there,
Yes.
so unilevel is our foundation, right?
Yes.
It is the foundation of your long-term income of the majority. I mean, talk to any of the leaders in doTERRA, the unilevel is the majority of their income. But the pools do add a very exciting addition to the main part of our paycheck, right? Because we get to literally share in the production of the whole company globally, right? So as China grows or Brazil or whatever market, whether you have team there or not, you're getting a little cut of it, right? You get to participate in those pools. So we have some enhancements there as well. So let's talk about the pools.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So we just talked about how we're adding that commissionable volume for the performance pool, so we can pay platinums more. We're also adding 1/4% into the empowerment pool, and that empowerment pool is paid to premiers, silvers, and golds. We're not changing any of the requirements here, so that's
adding money.
It's just adding money. So that
So
means,
what happens?
Yeah, you know what, Saramarie, you share here what happens to the empowerment pool.
Well, this is awesome because when you add money but you don't change any requirements, you now just have an instant increase to all of the shares coming out of that pool. So premiers, silvers, and golds will see about a $40 increase in US dollars for each one of the shares that they're getting in that pool every month. So that's just like a huge win right out there. So it's awesome.
We love it. And this is something that we look forward to the future and say doTERRA is going to continue to always see how we can help our wellness advocates more and more. So here we are. This is the empowerment pool. This is the performance pool. Now, we talked about how for unilevel, elite through gold, there was that team growth volume requirement for full unilevel. Now, for platinum and above, there's no unilevel requirement, but we will use that same team growth volume number to allow leaders to qualify for full shares in the pool. So what this means is that we want to ensure that the pool shares stay strong for generations to come. We want it to be that 20 years from now, when your daughter is sharing doTERRA, she can enjoy the strength of the pools. Like that is what we want, is for those pools to remain strong. And so one of the things that we are going to do is implement this team growth volume requirement to say, as you're getting money from these pools, there needs to be a minimum amount of growth that's happening in your team to get the full payout.
Right.
So if you are a platinum, for example, in the performance pool, if you are below the growth threshold, then you'll still get a share in that pool. But if you're above it, you'll get 3 shares. And it'll be the same way for the ranks going up the tree, just to say that if you are below the threshold, you'll get a limited number of shares. And if you're above it, you get the full shares in that pool. So these thresholds that we've put in, again, they're minimum thresholds of activity. So already the vast majority,
right.
The vast majority of our leaders are above this threshold. And we know that this is a new metric. It's not something that we asked you to focus on in the past. So we won't even be enforcing this metric until January 2026 for diamonds and above.
Okay.
Because we want, for those few
So that gives us a whole year of preparation time, right?
Yeah, exactly. For those few who are below that metric, we want to give them time, plenty of time to go in and say, okay, how do I get my team to have higher growth that's happening in my team? And we want to help you on that path to make sure everybody's over that.
Do you know what I appreciate about this? And I know, Sarah, you and I have talked about this. Because we're focused on that number and it's in our 7-level structure, well, that's also where we get the majority of our paycheck. So many of us as leaders have focused many times on teams, and they deserve it, and it's a worthy investment. But some of these teams are 20 levels away, 25 levels away, and they're contributing to the growth of the company, but I'm actually not even getting paid on them, right? Because they're so far away, and others are getting paid on them. So I really appreciate this focus on your 7 level through this new qualifier, whether it's for unilevel or for the pools. It makes it highly rewarding to focus on where growth needs to happen. And so I think that's just I think down the road, right? We might not see this immediately, but as time evolves, I think we're going to see significant increases in earnings
Yeah.
because of that.
That's actually a good point. This, of all the changes we're making, this is perhaps the most long-term in nature. Like, we're really thinking about the future with this one and trying to say, how can we make sure that in, say, 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, like Michael said, the pool shares are still strong. And we've set the thresholds in such a way that we're confident that will happen over time, but it won't have an immediate impact for most people.
Yeah.
It's something that will play out.
Now, we've kind of saved the best for last. And there's one change that we've been talking about making that we as leaders in the field wanted implemented immediately. and of course, it just doesn't work like that, but that is rank compression. And so let's talk about why that's so exciting, Sarah.
Okay, well, this update is really an incredible thing for rank qualification. And as we've shared, several of these different updates, they really impact different groups of people. But this one is specifically for platinums and above. As you're looking to qualify for rank and who is going to qualify you, you'll now have more options with rank compression because you're going to look in each one of your sponsor legs, you're going to find the highest qualifying wellness advocate that's close to you to help you qualify. So now, let's say you have someone who's on your front line, but they aren't qualifying at the rank that you want to push to. And you can actually look a little deeper and be helping people at their own pace, right? It also can help you find the builders that have the most potential in every single one of your legs, where you're not just tied to the people you have personally enrolled, but as long as people are within your enrollment tree, in every single one of your legs, you'll be able to look for additional qualifiers. And that, just opens up massive opportunity and options. Because I think what Isaac said with Power of Three, where it is so frustrating to talk to someone who just feels stuck because there's a relationship with someone, they don't want to push them, but that person's not running at the same pace that they are. And it can cause friction and frustration. And we believe that doTERRA is a company that helps people. We help the world heal. And there's a huge part of this business that is relationship. And if we can preserve those relationships by having a qualification model that allows you to say, okay, while this person's taking a break, because that's an important part of our model, really, is that everyone has a chance to take a break and to rest, that the leader doesn't have to rest as well, that they have a path to move forward, working with someone else to qualify, and you're never in a hostage type of a situation.
Yeah.
But also just like, now there are people that are in your organization that want help, that have potential to grow, but aren't qualifying anyone. It allows you to find those people and build them. And that duplication, again, it goes back to my favorite part of this, which is it just grows your unit level because it really helps you find those people that have explosive potential. So rank compression is very exciting. And anytime someone's qualifying at platinum or above, they can use rank compression, which means if you're a gold or a silver and you want to get to platinum, you can actually use rank compression to rank advance to platinum. And that's such a cool opportunity as well. Like this really just, we have so many people at doTERRA that now you have the option to work with any of them. And this really opens up massive potential in markets that have been open for a very long time. And for markets that are up and coming, that as they find the right people to work with, they're going to know and they're going to have that option.
Yeah, one of the hard realities of our business is not everyone wants to lead.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to be the builder or leader, but they might be in that position where you need them to be, right? And this alleviates that, right? So we can actually find the true builder or leader in that team and focus there. It's so liberating, so exciting.
And so many hidden benefits to this as well. Like
So
the more
many.
we talk through it and the more we understand the impact it could have, we see all sorts of things that are going to benefit. Maybe we'll throw some of those up on the screen. But we think, again, over time, even for those who might not feel like this impacts them today because they're maybe silver or they're gold, if this, like Saramarie said, like you can start looking for who's going to qualify you at platinum. If you're trying to go platinum, you now have options. And we love that optionality.
I need a silver in 3 legs.
That's exactly right.
Right? And wherever, I need a silver in 3 legs. And I can achieve platinum.
I just love the freedom. When you say you no longer need personal enrollment of your qualifier to hit platinum and above ranks, Yeah, you can just feel it in the freedom there.
One thing maybe just to mention on this, one concern that a lot of people have raised is, well, isn't it going to be way easier to hit rank now? So what happens to the pools?
Yeah,
right?
I've heard this.
Yeah. It's a very valid question, and one we're ready to answer, because of all the areas we're talking about, we've spent the most time trying to analyze what could this do to the pools. And will there be a little bit of dilution? Yes, there will. And that's part of the reason we're doing what Michael talked about earlier, where we're trying to protect the pool share values for the long term. But by and large, this won't change anything overnight for most people. What it will do for people is give them freedom. And in the future, as they now grow volume on their team and rank up, now they will just have all that extra freedom and optionality to do so. So we're not concerned about any short-term major pool dilution or long-term. We're confident that this is going to drive volume growth, drive growth overall, and it's going to lead to even more higher pool shares.
Isaac, can I ask a question on that? Because what I hear a lot is, and this goes back to the point you talked about of doTERRA being in a position of strength right now, and also putting a growth metric on these pools to stabilize them and keep the share value strong for the wellness advocates. What is the benefit for doTERRA in that?
Yeah, this is all for the leaders. Like there's no change in this for doTERRA. This is all about giving freedom to the leaders. And we're, like you said, we want to help the world heal. We want to have great relationships throughout the company. And this is actually a change we feel like is going to do that for leaders. Doesn't change anything for doTERRA.
Yeah, I've heard people ask a similar question. They're like, are you guys just trying to get back to the beginning question, trying to get more back from this? And it doesn't change our payout. Like, we pay a fixed percentage in Unilevel. We pay a fixed percentage in the pools. So these changes, to Isaac's point, are for you.
Yeah, but they do really impact the checks of the wellness advocates. And that's the cool thing about this, is that for those that are in those pools, for each one of you, and Justin, you participate in those pools. Like, this now stabilizes those shares for you for a very
I'm the only
long
one of
time.
the four of us getting paid this way. So I'm highly invested in understanding. So talking about understanding, a common comment as we've started to discuss all of this with some leaders and other folks is complexity. Okay, we've added a few new acronyms, a few new qualifiers that we didn't have before. And so how do we address, because in our business, simplicity duplicates, right? And duplication is everything, right? So one could argue that we've made the plan a little more complex, right? With some of these enhancements. So how do we address that?
Great. Thank you so much, Justin, for asking that. I would say that in some ways it's gotten more simple, like Power of Three becoming volume-based. Everyone I talk to is like, is this real? Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. We're simplifying. And in other ways, there is more complexity, like the team growth volume metric, and trying to understand what that is and how to utilize it and make it grow. One thing that I would say is there's always a trade-off between simplicity and complexity. The more simple you are, the easier it is to understand and duplicate, but you'll end up paying a lot of people who maybe shouldn't be getting paid. And then if you add more complexity, it lets you target the right people. To say, these are the people working, these are the people bringing in a lot of value to doTERRA. So we're trying to strike that balance between complexity and simplicity. And as we've looked at other companies, we've seen that ours is already very simple in comparison to many others. And when you look at some out there that you would say are more simple than doTERRA's, are they our size, and how long have they been around? Is another question I would ask.
I know for me, I plan to, according to my audience, right, whomever I'm talking to, if it's a brand new person with zero experience in our profession, or maybe it's a seasoned leader that's been doing this for decades, right? That's going to change the conversation and change the amount of information I'm going to be sharing. But initially, launching new people that are just getting started, they need to know about Fast Start, obviously, and that hasn't changed at all, same as always. And they need to know about Power of Three and Boost. That's what the new people need to know. And that is simple.
Yeah.
Okay, that is simple, and that duplicates, right? And then as they move forward, then we can introduce the other components of the plan that bring that longer term ongoing income, right? When it's appropriate. So
I love that.
I do see this as duplicating even faster, even better than we have, in our current compensation structure.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean, the story we've tried to create with Power of Three and the boost combined is to be able to go to someone and say, yeah, just go find a couple of friends, sign them up with doTERRA, get them on some of our incredible new products. We can't wait till the whole world has VMG Plus, by the way. Yeah. Personal kind of favorite product.
Yes.
Maybe I shouldn't say that on air, but I mean, these products are so highly consumable. They're so great for our LRP model. And just go get a few people on that, and then continue enrolling, and you're gonna boost to $500. There is a clear path now to earn $500 with doTERRA. Speaking in USD and recognizing we have a global audience. So we're excited about that. I totally agree with what you said, Justin. It's all about the audience, how you teach it, and we're going to be here all along the way to try to help give you tools and support you as you do that.
Okay, my comp plan gurus, when is this going to start? The big question, right?
That's the big question.
Yeah. I'm happy to take that one. So we're launching this podcast in the middle of January. And from this point on, we are happy for you to go out and talk to your teams about these changes. We are going to be doing calls with first Diamond Plus leaders, Platinum Plus, down to Silver Plus. We will be using our events globally to talk about these changes. The US will have Leadership Retreat in March, where we'll talk about this. In Europe, we have Empowerment Day at our convention. Globally, there'll be all sorts of events where we cover this. And then towards the end of the second quarter is when we intend to launch the changes. One caveat to that is to say that we are committed with this launch to giving you the tools you need in the back office. We're not going to launch it without that. And so as we go through this process, there's a chance that the date could move up, could move back. We're not sure exactly the month yet. We will know that probably in the next 6 weeks or so. And at that point, we will come out and say, this is the exact launch date. But right now, plan on Q2, probably towards the end, and we'll be really excited when that day comes.
Well, and thank you, Isaac. And you mentioned something really critical, all of the reporting and everything we can see in the back office. What additional, I mean, we've never done this before, right, in doTERRA history, this significantly. So what additional resources, tools, assets are going to be available to help us in the field be able to teach this, educate our teams, and really understand it?
Yeah, so we'll have a mini podcast series following this one where we can go into each one of the updates and be able to explain that, and you'll be able to share those and learn from them. We also have an introduction to the comp plan, because like we've kind of talked about, there is an intro, there's a getting started guide, and then there's the full comp plan as well. And so we'll have that comp plan 4-page document today. It will roll out and update, and you'll have that available. We also will have just a nice document available to outline the transition, right? To say, here's where we're at and here's where we're going. And as we elevate the comp plan, like really helping each one of you understand what all of those pieces are really clearly. And then we'll also have, PowerPoints and other resources for you as you're teaching your teams. And for you to be able to go out and be empowered as a leader, to be able to share with your team members in the way best for them to learn what we're doing and how this is going to impact them in a really positive way.
Yeah, and those are all going to be very helpful. And one thing I might comment here is even our current plan that we've had for the last 16 years, I can't tell you the number of times that I've seen people hold that sheet and then they get that very familiar glazed look, kind of like from high school algebra class, right? And they're just like, oh, there's numbers, and their brain just shuts off, right? And so my experience has been that multiple exposures is what is needed, absolutely, to really get it to sink in. So my counsel to all of you that are looking at this, if it doesn't sink in the first time, it's okay, right? That's normal, actually. It might take 2 or 3 or 4 or more times, as it has in the past, to really click, right? Yep. To get in there and click.
And you will get those 2, 3, 4 times in the next several months. I mean, we'll give you those videos that Saramarie talked about. We'll be having webinars constantly. You're going to get these chances. We want to make sure that all of our leaders understand this very well, because we know you're going to have to go teach it to your teams, and we're going to be here to support that as much as we can.
That's right. So this brings us to the end of our podcast. Any final thoughts or suggestions to the field?
So before maybe we get into a final thought or two, can I ask you a question, Justin?
Sure.
So we've kind of shared where we're going and how the comp plan is updating. What are you most excited about? What do you feel like is going to propel your business forward over the next several years?
Oh, goodness. Okay. So in the early days of doTERRA, and some of you have been around for long enough to remember those, talking about the business was often optional or it didn't happen at all, right? But we were so excited about the product and the oils and the results and the stories, and we would talk all about that, and we still do, and we still love that, and that's still a vital part of our business. But we didn't really even, like, I would go to events and people didn't even mention the business, like not even a word. It's like, oh, well, we do have, this is kind of important. And that was, 15 years ago, and times have changed, right? Times have changed. So we talked about our business 10, 15 years ago as kind of it's nice, supplemental income, get your product paid for, that's nice. Well, what's changed in our world, right? Having an additional income stream or a supplemental income stream is no longer a nicety, but a necessity, right? We as a society, as a people, need that now, right? Just to make ends meet, right? Given everything that's happened in recent years. And so our business model, so to answer your question, I know it's a long answer. To answer your question, I'm most excited about presenting this $500 model, right, that we've talked about, and duplicating that, because $500 is enough money for most families, right? Not everybody, but for most families to significantly impact the family, right? Significantly. And so if we can help people earn that and then just let that naturally duplicate, it's just going to fuel everything else, right? It's going to fuel all the rank advancements. It's going to fuel all the bonuses. All of that will take care of itself. But I want to focus on that simple duplication model. And to me, that's the most exciting thing, because fast forward a year or two from now, when that's truly all taken effect and has been rolling for a bit, and watch what's happened, right? It's going to be tremendous. So that's what I'm most excited about.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Love it.
And now I think back to your question. Thanks
What
for
are you almost excited about?
I'll start. It's actually similar to what you were just talking about. But as I've talked more and more with people about these comp plan updates, the thing that's most exciting is that when you help someone boost at that 250 level, so they have their 250 power of 3 and they're getting the 250 boost, they're getting that $500, you're also creating an elite. And elites are the foundation for all of the ranks within doTERRA. So it's exactly what you were just saying. This creates such a clean duplication model for people, where you go out there and now you're not talking to people in terms of unilevel or in terms of a high rank that's hard for them to really visualize it. You're talking in terms of a $500 bonus. Let's get you to this $500 bonus. And you get 3 people to that bonus and you're a silver. You help 3 people to do the same thing and you've created a platinum. It's such a beautiful way to reframe doTERRA's compensation plan and what people can create with it. So I feel like more than anything else, it's not massive shifts in the comp plan. It's a few important enhancements that help us to completely reframe the way that we can share it with the world.
Love it. Love it. Sarah.
I will just say this as closing thoughts. We've introduced a couple of new terms. We've introduced personal growth volume and team growth volume, and this is something new. And new can bring a ton of potential. And the thing I love about both of these terms actually is that they work together. And doTERRA is a business where you're not in business alone. You're in business with each other. And as you help people on your team reach their personal growth volume targets to be able to boost that power of 3 like Michael was just talking about, it also builds your team growth volume. And that's an important number for you.
Double dipping.
And the synergy between those two things to me is something I really love. Where when the comp plan works in a way that when someone does something and you're incentivized to help them and it helps both of you, that's beautiful. And now opening that up, the freedom with rank compression, now there is no reason for anyone to feel lost in doTERRA. Someone is always invested in their success. And there's no reason for anyone to ever feel stuck, like they don't have someone to move forward with. And I hate being stuck anywhere, in anything. And so I think bringing that freedom and that flexibility to everyone just makes me so happy.
Love it. So good.
I think I hope that people see from this change a willingness from doTERRA to take action based on our belief in the future. Like, I know, because some of the questions you even asked, right, are kind of like, oh, are we in trouble? Why are we doing this? And I really can sympathize with those questions. Like, I understand why people are asking them. Perhaps I might too if I was out there as a wellness advocate. But from our perspective, we believe in the future. Like, we're all here. We, just like all of you, wake up every day and decide, like, how much time do I want to spend on doTERRA today? And this project for us has been so motivating because, and we spent a lot of time on it.
All of your time.
All of our time. Because we believe in the future. Like, doTERRA is an incredible, roughly $2 billion company right now. That is amazing, by the way. Just amazing to think about. We all want us to be 10 billion. Like, I don't know why our mission can't take us even higher. This is one piece. We'll do more. Like, we will maybe not with compensation plan. I don't want to freak people out. I'm saying we'll do more with product. We'll do more with the way placements work.
Programs.
We'll do more with programs,
IT.
like IT, events. Like, we are motivated, and we want our wellness advocates out there to feel that from us, to know that that's how we feel. And this is one piece of a bigger picture, and we're just excited to roll it out.
I love that. And again, let me thank each of you, because I know behind each of you are teams of people.
Absolutely.
Right, that have been helping in this process, and countless hours of meetings and modeling and data analysis and study and all of that to make sure we've measured 100 times and cut once, right? And so that we're doing the best we possibly can. So thank you for that. And one final comment I'll just leave is one of my mentors, you've probably heard of him, his name is Dave Ramsey. He is quoted as saying, unclear communication is unkind. And we don't want that, right? We don't want that. So to you, my friends in the field and leaders, if you're uncertain on any aspect of what we've been talking about, please reach out. Reach out to any of us, reach out to the resources that are available. We want to make sure that everyone is very clear about all of this, right? So that there's no confusion. Because when we're confused, we also don't take action, right? So we want to avoid that as much as we can. It's very exciting.
It is.
Super excited about it. Thank you for being here. I know we all
Justin.
have schedule crunches, so off we go.
Yeah.
And thank all of you for taking your time investing in you to watch this podcast, and we'll see you soon.